very first SciFiPUlse Hangout on air. Joining me for this show today is the fabulous Britton Valente and my good friend Matt Pyle. How you guys doing?
We're doing great. How are you?
I'm good. I'm doing great. My hair's getting lighter, which is really cool. You know, I think I'm just gonna go completely blonde so I can just sort of like be as dumb as I like, sort of thing. But yeah, it's good. And
Is that due to old age or the sun?
no, it's due to the fact that I've been hair dye.
Oh, you made it sound like it was a happy accident.
It was a happy accident because I've just learned how to use hair dye, so like it's great. Anyway, we're also joined by special guest star Sasha, the dead cat. He's not dead, really, isn't he?
Not dead.
He's moving. He's moving. Look.
Comatose.
He's moving. Yeah, sure.
He's moving. When you put your hand on him and jerk him around, he's moving.
Yeah, you know, so like it takes genius to figure that out. Anyway, we're gonna be talking some sci-fi here today, and got a couple of subjects going. And before we get to that, of course, we're gonna try and tweet out this address so people on YouTube, on Twitter, can actually see what we're up to. You know, if indeed they want to see what we're up to. So I'm just going to do that right now. But you know, before I do that, you know, the topic this week is what makes for a good superhero series. So I'm going to let you guys, chew that one over while I'm sorting out the stuff on Twitter.
Sure.
Well, I don't know about you, Marks, but I've never seen a good superhero TV show, so there.
Ooh.
So I have no idea what goes into one.
Well.
Hashtag hater.
Well, I'm kind of partial to Daredevil.
Right.
And I'm partial. I liked Arrow, the first 2 seasons of Arrow, at least. So I don't know what makes a good. I think it has to capture what made the tone and what made the character unique in the comic books in the first place.
Yeah.
While translating well into that new medium, I think. So.
Yeah. It has to take it.
Oh, go ahead.
It has to take advantage of long-form storytelling, which I think, I don't know, right now I'm watching the show Lucifer, which isn't strictly, he's not a superhero, but he definitely came from a comic book.
But he's very super, as he would tell you.
Yeah, of course. Oh, yeah. He might mention it, I'm not sure. But I'm watching Lucifer right now, and I think the show sort of needs to find some footing things, but that show I don't think takes advantage of long-form storytelling very well. I feel like it's in this weird mix of, okay, we're telling an overall story, but they're also a week-to-week.
You know, the trouble with Lucifer, though, is it's nothing like the comic, because in the comic he's a complete asshole.
I know. Oh, believe me, I was like.
He's just a smarmy. He's just a smarmy git that I want to punch.
No, when I was having a wedding dress fitting, I put on an episode for like 4 of my girlfriends who happened to be here for it, and we just kind of kept going, ugh. Like, of course, in the show, every single girl he meets is like.
Yeah, we've lost it now. She's frozen. She's frozen live on the air. Well,
that's what Lucifer does to you.
It screws up your camera.
I think so. Well, anyway, so I think what she's pointing out, like Lucifer. Well, for one thing, Lucifer is nothing like the comic book, right? At least I don't think so. I haven't read the comic book. I've heard good things about it. Have you read it, Ian?
I've not actually read it, but when I posted my first review of it, I actually referred to it, probably not being too much like the comic book, and I got quite a long response from someone on the website, saying how different it was from the comic book, which was really cool. Because, a lot of the time when you write something on SciFiPUlse, you usually get people just sort of like writing on the message board just to criticize you. And
Yeah.
But we never publish those anyway. But
there's a certain charm to the show that I do like, but it's definitely not the kind of example we're looking for, because I mean, what it is Fox was like, hey, how can we do the formula of cop with somebody some weird character that's the detective kind of person, like the Mentalist, like Castle, like Bones, that kind of stuff. What if that was the devil instead? And that, I think that reshaped the whole formula of the show, and their hope to make it more mainstream, I think. But it's definitely not true to the comic books, right? Do you think that?
I think that's basically what they were trying to do. They're trying to make it, because let's face it, if they were true to the comic book, it wouldn't be on network television anyway. It'd have to be on HBO or something like that. Because the comic book, in comparison, from what I've heard, it's much darker than what you're getting on Fox currently.
Yeah, like Preachers. Preachers going to be on AMC, so it'd be a little bit darker, or Game of Thrones on HBO if you want to go real dark.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I just let you guys know I've invited Britain back in, so hopefully she'll find her way back on, come back into the conversation. We were hoping to have someone from the Black Tribbles on to talk with us, but unfortunately he ran into technical problems with his camera and stuff like that. But we hope to reach out to him then again and hopefully bring him on for another show at some point.
And if he's listening right now, if he can get back on, that'd be great.
That'd be wonderful. But yeah, it's an interesting thing, when they do comic book shows and the sort of like adapt them to the TV. I mean, I think Arrow, for example, Arrow, I loved that series, the first couple of seasons, and it's kind of like meandered off a little bit and lost its course, sort of thing. But what I loved about the first season and first two seasons is they were kind of referencing the origin story of Arrow from I can't remember the actual comic book, but the actual, because there was a comic book writer and he did this great origin story for Arrow, and I've actually got it on my Comixology sort of somewhere, but I can't remember the name of it or the name of the writer. But what I liked about it was the way it utilized some of the material that he put in that comic, and had Oliver Queen on the island and stuff like that, and he comes back as Arrow.
Yeah, I think the first two seasons were really good, and I think I've never been a giant Green Arrow fan. I've read a lot of the Green Arrow comics. I liked some of his appearances and such in Justice League. So I wasn't so sure about that show, but when it came on, I really liked it a lot. And I think those two seasons are really, really good. The balance, the parallels between the present day and the island flashback scenes were done really, really well. And unfortunately, not so much after that. But I still like the characters a lot. There's still some good episodes. I still watch Arrow, but it's not as strong as this when it started, unfortunately.
It's not, and I think one of the things that actually weakens it is this whole sort of like, but they've got to do it because it's a CW show, and they've got to sort of like appeal to the teens. But it's this whole sort of like relationship thing going on between Oliver Queen and Felicity Smoke. I think that actually kind of weakens it a little bit.
I think it did. I think I think one, the flashback scenes have been not very relevant or interesting in season 3 or 4, and then two, I think they tore down Black Canary's character too much, and they didn't do a very good job building her back up for the audience. And three, the relationship with Felicity. Even though fans kind of wanted it, I don't think it was a good idea, and it did not play out very well. And I think also with Felicity, whenever they put her in a wheelchair, how they resolved that so far was really kind of cheapened that whole injury of hers. It's a little bit insulting in a way, and it became like a bait and switch kind of deal, or like just trying to be sensational with her getting shot up and no real results long term.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's funny. I was actually talking to Reisa about that a few weeks back, as the whole wheelchair thing, and he says that they've never really been able to tackle it. In the series of Arrow, the difficulties that a person in a wheelchair does have, whether it's short term or long term. But
it would have been nice for them to have tried. Because look at Oracle, a very famous character who was in a wheelchair.
Mm-hmm.
I think we have Britain again.
Yeah.
Woohoo!
Yeah, and a lot of what is it called? I think they call it mysterious wheelchair disease, because characters will end up in wheelchairs, and you're like, oh, okay, what caused this? Like, was it, because if you're shot, like, is it a spinal injury? Is it, like, did you fall and break your spine? Like, did you suffer insane internal, because if you've been shot and it literally, like, went through your intestines and took out 1/3 of your liver, you can't just not walk. Like, you've got some real problems in there that are going to last the rest of your life, or that you severely are going to have to deal with. And it could be used in a way that actually changes a character or informs a character. But usually it's just magical wheelchair disease. And once they learn how to walk again, it's like it never happened.
Yep. It's
and it's sad that little microchip suddenly. I know they're working on stuff like that, but that microchip just came out of nowhere. Now she's good, I guess, and it was really quick. They should have let her deal with that a little bit longer, for sure, at least, if not forever. It's not like Felicity's a real physical character anyway. She's not going around beating up people anyway. So
no, they could have actually kept her in a wheelchair and no one would have cared.
No, I mean, people were making parallels between her and Oracle. Everybody thought maybe she was going to be that version of Oracle. So, but they didn't do that. So I don't know what they're going to do for a character. They're going in some weird directions. I'm not sure what they're doing. I almost feel like she's leaving the show. That's what I feel like they're setting it up for, but I can't believe they will.
They should kill her. Kill her. Over with.
Well, they already killed Black Canary. You can only kill one main character.
She gets better, and then she gets better just in time for them to write her off.
To die.
Well, I know what happens. They write her out, and she comes back as a man.
Okay. I think the chip.
Brilliant plot twist, that.
I think the chip will become sentient. It will take over her body, upgrade her, and she will become a supervillain.
That would be awesome. That's a great idea. Cybernetic implants overtake their personages. That's great. That's like when someone gets a replacement eyeball or a replacement hand, and all of a sudden they feel the urge to commit murders. It's great.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this thing about replacement hands, I remember watching a really old, slight change of subject really, but I remember seeing an old horror movie back in the 80s called The Hand.
Yeah.
And basically someone lost a hand, and this hand was walking around, on its own and murdering people. It was just a disembodied hand. It was just going, all that. It was cool.
You know how hard it'll be moving around with just your hand, though.
Yeah.
That's some real finger strain. Yeah.
Imagine a hand. It's sort of like just walking down the street, and it's sort of like it's thumbing a ride off a, it's flagging down a bus, and gets on a bus, and it's really bizarre. But that'd make a really cool video.
But the hand is on an internal clock because it knows that with all that finger strain, Corporal Tunnel is going to take it.
Oh.
Take it in a matter of years. You gotta get some before then.
But you got to remember it's CW show, so it'll be a matter of minutes. Oh dear.
No, it's a CW show, so that hand will stay young and beautiful forever.
Mm-hmm.
Its only disease that it will become yet more young and beautiful. I was asking somebody, what show is it? Is it the 100? It's a show about basically the teenagers who are sent to ruined Earth, and they've got to fight their way through things.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's the one. I quite liked it for the first couple of seasons, but it's gone a bit weird now.
Well, I was talking, because I'm in Los Angeles and there are writers here, and I couldn't get in touch with this person again. But I saw them at a party once, and they were talking about how in the original script of the 100, when they crash land on the planet, they were mutants, and people had monkey hands on their feet.
Mm-hmm.
And she said that the first thing that the network said was, "You can't have that. That's gross."
Yeah.
The only mutation that they could have was that somehow America getting nuked to death meant that people evolved hotter and more muscular.
There
you go.
It's funny because in the first couple of episodes of the 100, I remember them seeing a deer, and it had two heads, it had two faces. And it's really odd because we're not seeing any deers or any wildlife with two faces since. It was sort of like just in the first season. Now it seems like I think basically they've hunted down all these two-headed deer and killed them all and wiped them out, just to make room for all the new people in the cast.
It's expensive.
We can't afford more CGI.
Those two-headed deer demand twice the salary.
They do. You gotta pay them. Their union is a really good one.
The two heads are better than one, I guess. Or,
transition back to my computer. I don't know why I decided to be a jerk.
Okay, well, back onto the subject of superhero shows. We've completely improved Arrow by changing Felicity Smoke's character. So what else can we put right in superhero shows? What should we talk about next? Maybe Daredevil?
Before Daredevil, let's stick with CW for just a second. I really think I like Flash, okay? But I really need to get away from the time travel stuff. Am I right? Yeah. It's like, is this Dr. Flash, Doctor Who Flash, or what? Or just Flash? Because their time travel stuff's getting a little crazy. That and Legends of Tomorrow. I don't know if you watch Legends of Tomorrow, but it's the logic, time travel logic is crazy.
Well, it's not real.
It's not real. I know it's not real.
Lame excuse. Boo.
Boo. It's not real. So do whatever you want. It's magic.
Well, that's what they do in the UK. I mean, it's funny. There was actually a rumor a few months back that they're going to do a Captain. Oh, we lost Britain again.
She might be switching computers.
That they were going to do Captain Britain TV show here in the UK. It kind of got quashed, but the interesting thing about Captain Britain is he's a character that's created by magic.
Yeah.
And
Merlin
I think,
or something, Camelot, Excalibur.
Yeah, he was kind of created by Merlin. Merlin gave him his powers, sort of thing. And I kind of figured that'd be a cool thing to do, if they could do that with a superhero show, because so many of them are relying on science.
Yeah, I kind of wonder if it's and I could be completely wrong. Hopefully, it didn't sound too crazy, but I feel like British entertainment, at least some of it, at least the sci-fi entertainment, they seem a little okay with more off sci-fi, more magic type stuff, and whereas in America we seem a little bit more like we want firm facts of how could this happen kind of deal, you know. Um, and I think that's why Marvel does it the way they do.
Uh-huh. Well, Britain, what was just discussing when you get when as you got lost there is there was a rumor going around a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month or two back, that Captain Britain, they're going to make Captain Britain into a TV series. I'm just wondering if you know anything about Captain Britain.
He wears the Union Jack.
Yep, but he's also a character. He's one of the other.
His character.
I know his costume. Yeah, but he's more than what he wears, Britain, you filthy sexist.
Mhm.
He's like a British Superman, but less powerful.
You know, Superman's a douche anyway, but
No, he's not.
Captain Britain, he's sort of like his character that's created by magic. So, and that's what Martz and I were just speaking about. That Captain Britain's created by magic, whereas a lot of the US superheroes come about because of science or because they're an alien or something like that.
But we do have Doctor Strange coming.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I feel like
I have somewhat high hopes for, just because the trailer makes the whole movie look like an MC Escher.
I think worst case scenario, you could like get drunk and watch it and really have a great trip. I don't know. Because it's really visually cool. At least the trailer is.
Drinking's bad for you, Marks. You get
Sorry.
hot.
No. Actually, drinking's good for you. You're supposed to drink lots and lots of beer because it keeps you hydrated.
I don't think that's true.
It's true.
No, you smoke a lot of weed. Weed keeps you hydrated. Pure science.
It's also good for the spleen, apparently.
Drinking?
No, weed.
Oh, that's it. I don't think drinking's good for
Anything,
spleen
really.
and/or liver.
Well, it sure gives you a lot of exercise on the toilet as you back and forth, doesn't it? You know.
But no, you guys were discussing how Americans are obsessed with science in our science fiction.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's because, to a certain extent, we really Americans want to believe that we're getting smarter. Like, yes, we're obsessed with the Kardashians. Yes, we don't read Al Jazeera. But deep down, we really like to know weirdo, bizarro facts. That's why we watch shows like River Monsters. That's why, like, Ice Road Truckers is a thing. Like, any just sort of minute trivia we can learn, we feel better about ourselves. So, if we're watching a science fiction show, I have never seen Battlestar Galactica. And so my fiance was like, this is a requisite before we get hitched. So we watched the miniseries like last week, and then I watched the first 2 episodes yesterday. And he was like, and then in the script there's this full-page explanation of how faster-than-light travel is impossible. So instead they jump by poking a hole through the fabric of... And I was like, yeah, sweet, awesome, yes, I've learned something. So I think Americans are more vaguely obsessed with learning minutia than we are, like, really caring about the physics of time travel. But I agree, like, I'll watch movies, I'm like, that's not how physics work. Or I'm like, that's not science. That's nonsense. I have a bachelor's degree in writing. I know all about science.
Yeah. So having said that, how would you respond to a superhero series where the superhero is, basically uses magic? or has come about because of magic?
I think it's great, but you have to sort of have the rest of the world be dealing with this. Like we were watching Battlestar Galactica, and in the early episodes, Balthar is sort of dealing with the fact that he's seeing Six. Like he's physically seeing her and touching her in his dreams, and this goes against every scientific principle that he has. And in the first couple episodes, he is like, you know how when you're writing, you're not supposed to create coincidences that make your character's life easier?
Mm-hmm.
His life is so easy. Like, everything he does inadvertently works out. And the only reason I think it works is because you can see it freaking him out. Like, he is literally like, what? Why did that ship suddenly why? What? Like, it's totally messing with his worldview, and it's really, like, freaking him out. And I feel like if you're going to have just, like, a magic character, you can have it like Sabrina the Teenage Witch, where it's just like, okay, there's magic in the world and humans don't know about it, but there's this whole other magic dimension where it's totally normal and people use it to buy groceries and, do whatever. Or you have it where you're like, holy cow, this is a big effing deal. So, yeah.
Yeah, I just think it'd be fun to have a superhero show where they use magic instead of science.
Well, I mean, Doctor Strange is coming. I think Marvel has been trying to make it all more science related, but now that Doctor Strange is happening, maybe we're going to see more of the supernatural side of Marvel. Maybe the big bad after Thanos is going to be oh, is it Diablo? No. What's his name? Mephisto.
Mephisto.
Yeah.
Is that a porn?
Porn. You know who Mephisto is?
That sounds like a really, really cheap porn.
Sounds
Well,
like
I
what?
was.
Mephisto.
Oh.
Oh. Oh, that's great.
We just made this thing a PG-13 just by doing that.
Too much violence.
Oh dear me! But is it Mephisto? It's called.
I think isn't that right, Burton?
When
Comic book
he gets
character?
drunk. When he gets drunk, he's called I'm Pissed Though.
And
I'm Pissed Though.
and when he wants to add some flavour to his food, he calls himself I'm Pesto.
Highbrow comic analysis, people.
That was corny. Oh dear me.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, Mephisto is a magic character.
Yeah.
But like,
He's like
so's
the
Sam.
He's like
And-
Marvel's Daredevil, pretty much.
Is he?
Marvel's Satan.
Okay.
Satan-ish.
Well, I mean, like, I like that Kazam, that they found a way to make Kazam's powers worked basically in the comic book, where he's the only person who can sort of go against Superman and have a chance, because Superman's powers are based in the physical world and Kazam is like magic. Like he's magic. Like it's some other dimensional power that you can't really block unless you have magic, which Superman doesn't.
Yeah, Shazam, Captain Marvel.
Yeah, I think they should actually do they should do TV series where Superman gets his butt kicked by every single Marvel character on the planet.
What's up with the Superman hating?
It's because Superman's an American, Marks.
No,
He's the American way.
I actually preferred the Russian Superman. I thought that was cool.
See, if we knew anything about Captain Britain, we could trash talk him, but we don't, because Captain Britain is totally unknown in the real world.
Real.
I remember him
It's not
from
really time
Excalibur.
travel.
Nah, I don't like, the reason I don't like Superman very much is because, you know, he's virtually indestructible with the exception of when he gets when someone sets some kryptonite on him or something like that. You know, I just don't, you know, I prefer Batman to Superman because Batman's sort of like worked out. He's sort of like he's used science and, you know, technology to get where he's at. Whereas Superman, yeah, I just can't get my head around the fact that he's got superpowers and, you know, he's a farm boy.
Farm boys work out.
Farm working out is their lives. Like, that's, if they're not working out, they're not doing their jobs. That's what farm boys do.
Why don't, you know, I think Superman
#Idaho.
Superman would be much better if he didn't have any muscles and he was just a fat git. You know,
Right.
and lots of beer and stuff like that, and he was just sort of like a regular Joe with a beer gut and you know, sort of stuff like that. I think that makes Superman better. He'd be more funnier, I think.
So what you really resent are the unfair male beauty standards that Superman has embodied since his inception, is what I'm hearing.
Yep. And the fact that he can get away wearing his underwear on the outside of his pants, I mean, you know, I'd love to get away with that.
You could do it, you just get arrested, that's all.
Hey, man.
You could do it on the beach, Ian. Just go on the beach. Wear your Superman undies.
Cool.
Yeah, America, women walk around topless, like,
Never.
come over here, wear your shorts anywhere you want. America's great. You can, you know. There's someone dressed as Superman right now, just like standing out on Hollywood and Vine with his underwear for all the world to see. Like, come to America.
and I've got a beer gut too. But moving on again. Brittany,
No. I'm gonna play devil's advocate for Superman here, because you're right. Batman's better. Like, no one is saying that Batman is inferior to Superman. He's not. Batman's the best. But I'm glad that Superman exists because there's actually a really good web series called. It started as I'm a Marvel, you're a DC, which was a knockoff of I'm a Mac, you're a PC. It's great. Mm-hmm. But that guy actually made it's the equivalent of a full-length movie, just set in the Marvel DC universe, but acted out through action figures. And he made this whole like 90-minute thing that basically ended being like, why is Superman relevant? And Superman himself asked this. He's like, why am I even here? And all these other heroes are better. And someone's like, no, man, you're great. You're the superhero that all superheroes look up to. We secretly want to be you because, you know, Batman struggles with what's right and what's wrong. Secretly, he wants to always do the right thing, which is what Superman does. And on top of it, Superman has the power to always do the right thing. Because, you know, like, he doesn't even, like, need food or water. Like, you know, like, he really has everything to where if he wants to be morally right, he can take that position, and nothing could really stop him from doing that. So, I have a lot of love for Superman.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I have against Batman is he seems to wear a lot of rubber.
Oh my gosh, that's high-density Kevlar, guys. Dude, come on, don't call it rubber.
You should never go out at night without a rubber suit.
That would be a great PSA for Batman to do.
Yes.
Back when people did PSAs, it'd be like, Batman never leaves the house without his rubbers.
Yeah,
neither should you.
He's fully covered.
Don't forget your cowl. Cowl condoms from Wayne Corps.
Well, holy cow, Batman! Sorry.
Holy cow, Batman. They have different levels. One of them is a Kevlar. One of them is Batwing Kevlar.
And the other one's rubber, just in case he gets lucky. Oh dear me.
So I wonder if why some people don't like Man of Steel and Batman vs Superman is because Superman doesn't capture the tone of the comic books as much because he's not holding up those ideals of hope and such. He's kind of getting a little darker, a little more Batman territory. So
yeah, which is dumb because that's Batman's territory. You can't muscle in on it. You can't do it better than him. But if you present a real foil to Batman's, cynicism, especially if you're going to make a Batman who kills people just without restraint.
Yeah,
especially if you're going to have that. Like, have someone be like, holy crap, dude, what the balls are you doing? Stop it.
He doesn't shoot them directly, though, so that doesn't count. It's like it's the MacGyver method. You don't use a gun, but you can blow them up with a booby trap. It's okay.
Or you can run them the freak over. Like, these are low-level thugs. Like, they could be there because, their mom's in the hospital. Or, they're unfortunately addicted to something. Or, they've got kids to feed. Why are you killing them?
It's okay. They'll survive. If
They're the
paralyzed...
blue-collar workers. They're the red shirts of the crime world. Come on, man.
Batman went to his angry place. I blame Joker.
Yeah, I think the trouble with the whole new Superman movies is, as you say, they're making him too dark. They're trying to make him too much like Batman, and that's just it. The whole point and the whole reason that that in the comic books the battles between Batman and Superman were so interesting, so good, was because the two characters were very much opposed. That had very different points of view. Batman was sort of like hard on crime and right wing on very right wing on crime, whereas Superman's maybe a little bit kinder.
Yeah.
And that's why it works in the comics.
Did you say Batman's a Republican? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I personally think Batman's a Republican, and I also think he's a repressed homosexual because he wears all that rubber.
Well, that's just sexist. I know lots of gay men who don't wear rubbers. Mountains of gay men who don't wear rubbers.
Okay, well, just don't give them my email address, okay?
Okay. I'll just give him your phone number. Let's call this guy.
Fair enough, you can do that. Dear me. But that for me is why it didn't really work. I've not seen the movie yet, but I've seen the trailers, and it's sort of like I can see where it's going in the trailers.
Yeah, I've seen the movie. It was better than I thought, but it has a lot of flaws in it. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of hanging out for Captain America: Civil War. It comes out at the end of this week here in the UK, but I'm probably not going to be able to see it until next week.
Yeah, I can't wait.
I feel like the Marvel movies at least have a sense of fun, which is good, and you can tell that Civil War is going to be a bit grittier. But it's going to be grittier because it's about friendship, and it's about friendships like growing and changing and losing close friends. And so it's just going to be like a big, sad bromance. Which
Bromance
I'm like, yeah. Well, you can see it in the trailer when Tony Stark says, I used to be your friend. Like
Tony's
you feel
just
for
jealous.
him. You're like, aw, Tony, he's He's known him longer. Like, come on, man.
Yeah. I mean, even Captain America 2 was quite gritty, but it still managed to have a bit of humor in it as well.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, they have a good balance in Marvel. DC hasn't quite found that balance. I mean, Snyder's the guy who brought us 300 and Watchmen, and I like those movies, but those are a different tone totally than what I would want a DC movie to be like.
yeah,
I
and
feel
they're not very funny either, is Watchmen or
300 was hilarious.
300. I feel like 300 was his only really successful movie. I feel like Watchmen, like, oh man, because I love that comic book. Like, I was like, yeah, Watchmen movie, and the trailer was amazing. The trailer was astounding. Like, it was just like to die for. It was such a good trailer. So we were like I saw the midnight showing. I saw it with a theater full of Watchmen fans, and just people hyped out of their minds. And then it opened, and there was that amazing opening sequence with the times they are changing, and everyone's like, "Oh, we're gonna die! This is so awesome!" And then gradually, like you could just feel the excitement in the room dwindle and dwindle, and then by the time you got to the comedian's funeral and the sound of silence started playing, the audience audibly groaned. Like, we all just went, ugh, and that was it. So I feel, and this is, like, I talk to people who love Zack Snyder. Like, they love Zack Snyder movies. They don't care how many people Superman kills. They don't care how many people Batman kills. They don't give two craps about it. But I think 300 was his best movie, and everything else has been sort of like inadvertently funny, inadvertently hilarious.
Sucker Punch was a bit of a mess, for sure.
Yeah, Sucker Punch was a really nice mess to watch because it had a lot of hot babes in it. So, that's the only reason I watched Sucker Punch. I wasn't paying attention to the story of the plot.
Yeah, I can't remember. I can remember, I think, quite a bit about Sucker Punch. Like, I can remember how it ends, because I feel like that's how you know if a movie was honestly pretty good or not, is how much you remember it. Because sometimes you'll watch a movie and 2 weeks later you're like, wait, what happened in it? What was the plot? What were the scenes? I can't really, because it's just like popcorn. You eat it and that's gone. But I can remember really well, I think. So yeah. I can remember, and then I can remember Watchmen because I just spent the whole time going, why? Why did he do this?
Well, squid at the end, man. We didn't get the giant squid.
I know. How bummed was that?
Only the giant squid.
Me too.
So, they could have got Admiral Akbar to come in it. He was from the Calamari, wasn't he? So they could have had him be the stand-in for the giant squid.
There's just this explosion. There's a lone figure standing in the center.
And it's a trap.
Like, look, it's a trap.
It's a trap.
I'm the trap. That'd be a good movie. There's a new Star Wars film.
There you go.
Captain Akbar, when he was like a young upstart space captain against the law. Like, I don't know Admiral Akbar's backstory. Don't get mad.
I don't know. He could be Captain Kirk of Star Wars.
Yeah.
His adventures.
A new girl every planet.
We're just making tons of great ideas here, huh?
I know. This is just like, this should be a writers group. Just like free money. There's the name of the show. SciFiPUlse, free money.
So what did you guys think of Daredevil and Jessica Jones, the Netflix shows versus the CW and the other shows?
You can just do more when it's not on network television. You can just the way that Lucifer got boiled down to being a buddy cop show. And not even, I mean, when you boil it down, it's just another buddy cop show with two people who may end up banging each other or may not. Like, you know, it's Castle. It's it's not even Law and Order. Like, it's just like that's sort of, it's a will they or won't they sort of show. But I'm sure if it was on Netflix, like, he would be bisexual in the sense that you would see him macking on men the way he macks on women on the show. You would see, like, you know, instead of just his eyes turning red, like, you'd see him, like, rip open somebody. Like, it would be more visceral.
Yeah, you'd see a giant knob with an eyeball popping out of it every time he gets excited.
Does that happen in the comics?
No, but I just thought, like, I thought it was a funny bit.
You just wanted it to happen.
I thought maybe you knew something we didn't, because there are those rated X comics running around. I was like, is that canon? That'd be hilarious if it's canon.
Yeah.
Nightcrawler's
canon anyway, you know?
Nightcrawler's two-pronger is canon. Do I have right now?
So, did you guys like Daredevil and Jessica Jones, and did you think they were actually good series?
I did. I thought they were really good. I think Daredevil's really great, and I think Jessica Jones is really good and really different than anything. It's not really even really truly a superhero show almost.
I really like Jessica Jones, but I was kind of disappointed that they wound up killing Kilgrave at the end.
Spoilers.
Well, everyone's seen it now anyway, Mads, you know? And if they haven't, need to get flipping Netflix and sort it out.
Right? Yeah, he was a good villain, but, you know, he's kind of hard to, he's so powerful. That's what you had to do in the end. I mean, that guy's too powerful to let live almost. So I know that would be a Superman stance, maybe a Batman stance of today. But he was just too powerful, did too many evil things, too dangerous. She tried, at least, to not have to kill him.
Yeah, but they could have knocked him in a room somewhere, or just sort of like knocked him out and kept him unconscious, kept him in a coma or something.
Yeah, but he had those safeties on. You know, he was smart and clever, and if he got loose, lots of people would die.
Yeah,
He really could take over the world if he wanted to. He just didn't have the ambition. He didn't have the desire to do it. He just wanted to do whatever he wanted to do.
Yeah, but I was just a bit disappointed that they killed him off because he's such a good villain. It's kind of like it's like with every single Batman film you've got, he usually ends up wasting the Joker in the movie, and yet, you know, they never do that in the comics. But because it's a movie, we've got this villain. Oh, we'll kill this villain off. We're not going to use him again. But you know, I think with Kilgrave, he's such a good villain. It's just a shame. It just seemed a bit wasteful, seeing him off.
He might have been overkill too many seasons. Also, they did a lot with him in that season. But you got Kingpin. Kingpin's not dead. They're doing great stuff with him long term. Probably the most developed Marvel villain of them all so far on TV, right?
Mm-hmm. And it could still.
That's what makes a good show.
What?
What's that?
That's what makes a good show. Good villain.
Yeah.
Most of what's great about Batman are his villains and how they've evolved over the years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Very true.
Like the recent Batman movies, the most recent ones with Christian Bale. I think one of the best things that they did in the first one was using Ra's al Ghul and bringing Ra's al Ghul to the mainstream.
Yeah, everybody knows how he was on Arrow even now. He was a good character, developed well. What's bad is like some of the other older Batman movies where they had like Mr. Freeze, the Bane, and the older movies. Those were not very good villains. Not good ways how they developed them.
Yeah, but I kind of liked the one where it had nipples on the suit. I thought that was pretty cool.
I don't know what that says about you, Ian. I think we lost Britain again. I wasn't sure if we did.
Yeah,
She's frozen.
she's kind of like stuck in the same pose there. Cool.
But I personally love Daredevil and Jessica Jones. I think Netflix Marvel is probably, in my opinion, the best superhero television so far. I like the CW. I like Flash, but I think Netflix Marvel is just a step up. So it's darker, and I don't think a show has to be dark or anything, but it's true to the characters. It's Jessica Jones is different than anything we've ever seen, and I'm excited about what they're doing with it.
Yeah, what I also liked about Jessica Jones is she's a complete mess as a character. She's got a serious drink problem. She's got her issues, and and I love that about Jessica Jones because it makes her so much more real as a person and a character. Whereas sort of like with Wonder Woman, she's got absolutely no problems whatsoever.
She's too tall.
She's too tall, and
And she's into bondage, I hear.
Yeah, well, sort of like
you guys are making me roll my eyes so hard about the of Wonder Woman. You have no idea. Just because someone's physically strong means they don't have problems. I've never read it, but I know in the She-Hulk, when She-Hulk had her own comic book, I think like in the 90s or something. Like she was a lawyer. Like she was a lawyer who was green and 6 foot, ripped like an MMA fighter.
Cool.
And her comic books were about having a boyfriend and also fighting crime and I think she cheated on her boyfriend at one point and dealing with that, and it's like, there, you're human.
Yeah, well, that's what Marvel does well, though, isn't it? So like it kind of like it gives the characters problems and issues, whereas sort of like DC not so much.
Yeah, they tend to be more often not big into the fights and weird plot twists of sci-fi or fantasy type plot twists or something weird.
And
not as much as in relationships. Huh?
And black rubber suits.
Rubber suits of nipples.
I think that's the main reason that Superman is boring to people is because, DC doesn't know how to do anything except let Zack Snyder do a lot of camera whips. But the real story of Superman is the story of Clark Kent. It's the story of someone trying to be a good person in a world that isn't good and trying to sort of live up to these farm boy childhood morals in a world that's gray. And the real story is how Superman wants to be a good human when there are no good humans, and how this alien ends up being the sort of standard for being a good person, even though he's not a person, he's an alien. And there's the real story. The story is what he does in between saving the world.
Mm-hmm.
So they need to do a whole series of Clark Kent then.
Yeah, they just need to do Clark Kent, the show.
And how little did we see of Clark Kent in Man of Steel and Batman vs Superman, and that's I think part of the problem. So he's barely there.
I don't want to talk about how right I was with Batman v Superman, but I was totally right.
Well, and when we had
totally right.
in the 90s, it was Lois and Clark, right? So
what super annoyed me about the trailer, Jesse Eisenberg doing whatever that was because he turns to Batman and he's like, Bruce Wayne, and then he turns to Clark Kent and he's like, Clark Kent, and I'm like, hold up, back up, reverse. How the hell do you know who Clark Kent is? Clark Kent is some scab. Clark Kent is a reporter of a newspaper. You don't even know what a newspaper is. Like, come on. It should have been Bruce Wayne and what the hell are you doing at my party? Who are you? Like, come on. Come on. He's Clark Kent. He's no one special, and that's the point.
Yeah.
So
That's how you
the second I
keep
saw
a
that,
secret
I was
identity.
like, well, the second I know, I was like, if you're sort of infamous to the Mark Zuckerbergs of the world, you're not working. Like, it's just so the second I saw that, I was like, okay, no idea what the function of Clark Kent is. So his Superman's probably crappy.
So basically, what comes down to what this topic comes down to is what makes for a good superhero TV series or film. I've changed topics slightly. Is good villain, solid acting, and so long as Zack Snyder's not directing, it should be good.
Yes. Only requisite.
Catching the essence of the original story. You know, it's
Mm-hmm.
like they don't do Man of Steel and Superman right now.
Yep.
That's.
They don't
But
even
they
do
do-
Smallville and Superman right now. They don't even do.
I know, right? Supergirl is more
Superman is
like.
Actually, that brings on to another subject. Actually, Supergirl, should it be picked up for another year or cancelled?
I don't watch Supergirl. I watch Agent Carter.
Yeah. Is Agent Carter gonna get renewed? I don't know.
Oh, we should. If we haven't found out, we should find out soon. I think they announced last season in May. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Well,
I think it was just before Comic-Con they announced it last time.
yeah. Well, I wrote about Agent Carter for SciFiPUlse.
Yeah, and
That's right.
she actually bought something into it called the boob window, in
Yes.
reference to some of these really weird whacked out dresses that Agent Carter was wearing.
I love half of them, but it's just like Kaylee Atwell is so beautiful and so gorgeous and has such amazing tatas that it's like, yes, they need a window and we need to honor these windows. And for like 2 or 3 episodes there were no windows. There were other odd things about her appearance that I could play about, but I was like, oh no, her boobs are not having windows anymore. This is terrible.
Window
And then
withdrawal.
in the last episode, she had a Kermit the Frog, like, I can't even describe it. Just go and look at the last review. But it was nuts, and I was like, yes! They had one more dress for her with a boob window, and I found it. Yeah. Boob windows are great.
Yeah, I think you was a bit disappointed in the finale though, wasn't you?
I was so disappointed. I was so disappointed. And because I think that this is a hallmark of just how a bad ending is, because this ending had nothing to do with the series. Like, it could have been the second episode. It was so unimportant. And because like they had a female villain in this one. And she was a villain from the first time you saw her. She had an arc. She developed powers. She tried to use her powers in certain ways. She had to kill people. She had to kill people close to her. She was like this was an active villain. Like, she was doing stuff every episode to try to make the world what she wanted it to be. And then the last episode, they're like, F it. She stands in front of a magical machine, her powers are gone, and that's it.
Yep. And
Agent Carter has nothing to do with this.
And
Like,
the thing is, she was a fantastic villain as well. No.
yeah, she was a really good one. And it wasn't even one of those... It wasn't even like one of those, oh, well, she secretly wants the world to be good, so you're on her side for that reason. It's like, no, you weren't on her side. She was nuts, and she's power hungry, but she really meant it.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Like, she really really was like science for the sake of science, and I can do something, and all I've been told my whole life is that I can't do anything. So I'm going to do this, even if it causes the world to burn.
Yeah, and
Wait.
what was really good about it as well is they actually shown some of her backstory from when she was a kid, and you know, her mother was using her sex appeal to lure blokes in to sort of take care of them, sort of thing.
Yeah.
But there was also, you know, she come from being completely and utterly powerless, you know, in that sort of situation. But you know, even back then, she was hungry for power because she was reading books. She was sort of like, you know, so much smarter than everyone that came into that, you know, into the home, sort of thing, and just a little bit resentful and you know, sort of like not too over or impressed with her own mum.
Yeah. And like, you know, people telling like the greatest scientific mind of their time, put those books away and go put makeup on. Like, you know, you can, and you not identify, but you can understand why that's frustrating to someone who can clearly be more than they are, but are told constantly put down. And so they built up this character, and and that's the thing. Like, I feel like if Agent Carter was Batman, or if she was a superhero, any other superhero who's a normal person, but, you know, is put in extraordinary situations, they would have thought of an ending that pitted her against these unreasonable odds, or they would have thought of an ending that brought her face to face with the bad guy, and only Agent Carter in this place and in this time can save the world. Right. But because they're like, it's Agent Carter, you know, she's not a superhero, we're not going to have her shoot her, so here's a hovering car built by Howard Stark to fix this.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what she can do? She can save her stupid friend who does something stupid and then gets in danger for it. Like, it's really like, oh gosh. So, but here's the thing: for half of the series, it was pretty good. For a few episodes, it was great, but for most of the series, it was pretty good, and it was leading somewhere. So that's why I'm like, maybe third time's the charm.
Was the finale the one where it had that musical routine in?
What?
The series finale of Agent Carter, was it the one where they had that little bit of a weird musical routine? Where
that was a little song and dance. I think that was like the second to last episode.
That was just so bad.
I didn't think it was bad, but I thought the subject of it was really stupid because it boils down to which man am I gonna choose? Which guy am I gonna be with? And I'm like, Mother, you're Agent Carter. This is not the most important thing on your mind.
Yeah, but she could have both of them, you know?
I know, she could have neither. I'm still hoping for her to just swear off men and lead a perfectly happy, I'm seriously I'm so confused why we haven't gotten a lesbian kiss with Dottie yet. I'm not saying Agent Carter has to like it. I'm just saying Dottie at one point needs to kiss her, because it needs to happen. It needs to happen. Because Dottie has this weird thing of where she kind of wants to be Agent Carter, and that's like a step in your infatuation problem, is when you're like, well, maybe I'll be happy if I'm just with Agent Carter. And then it's like, no, you really want to be that person, and then you end up trying to kill him. At least that's what 90s movies have taught me.
Okay, well, you know,
sorry.
Before we end this show, how about we talk a little bit about the new Doctor Who companion? What are you guys' thoughts on this new companion? Because we've seen a little bit of a clip to give us.
I haven't seen the clip yet. I've just read
Me
about
either. You're the only one who has any idea what's going on.
Oh, well, basically looking at being chased down a hall by Daleks. I mean, of course it's Doctor Who, so there's lots of running.
When I think of Doctor Who, I think of cardio. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Running by holding hands. Running.
Whereas
Yeah.
the old series, it didn't really have running as such. It had sort of like Tom Baker being all mysterious and sort of like big toothy grin and offering his nemesis a jelly baby.
I think
Didn't
it's
have as
also. Well, they
Didn't
couldn't
have-
build the sets long enough to run down because they were on a budget. So they would
That's
like
exactly what I was going to say. It's hilarious.
they would have like an 8-foot wall that they had set decorated, and then they'd trot in, and we were running, and now we're out of breath.
The walls are moving. Yeah. And the walls are made out of styrofoam.
Yes.
Yeah.
That way the monster could break through them on next week's episode.
Yeah.
Mhm.
With the rubber suit monster.
Yeah, the rubber suit. Basically it's where Batman stole his costume from. Was Doctor Who.
Pretty
the
much, yeah.
Doctor's department.
You are obsessed with Batman's rubber suit.
He is.
He is not wearing hockey pants. Jeez, that's painted.
I kind of grew up watching the 60s Batman series, and there was no rubber in that. It was sort of like nylon. It was just, it's sort of like ruined Batman for me. It's kind of like it's made Batman kind of pervy. Especially when they added nipples, I just saw like that was just too much.
Too much. Well, I hope Doctor Who's better because it's been hit and miss with me for a while. So
I thought the last season was really good.
it was better.
No, but the new companion, she's played by Pearl Mackie, and she's called Bill.
Yeah, it's weird.
I don't think I've ever met a woman called Bill before.
I met a woman named Fred, an angel.
Yeah, but that
Remember
would have been short for something like Frederica or something like that, or
Well, maybe Bill's short for
Bingy.
Huh?
Bingy.
Well, usually it's William, but whatever female version would be, like Willa or something like that.
Wilma.
Maybe. I think if my name was Wilma, I'd probably go by Bill.
Good, yeah.
Well, my name wouldn't be Wilma. I would hope not.
Yeah. Well, my dad was called Bill, and there's no way he's as pretty as that.
Oh, I think Britain's returning.
Yes, sorry. I thought my computer had. Rebooted. So I was like, sweet. This is the time I'm gonna take to go grab my sweet potato out of the oven.
Cool.
Good.
I know I've been talking about it forever, but here it is. That's
Ooh.
my dinner.
Sweet potato.
It's a giant sweet potato because I've got a wedding dress to fit into, which means I can't eat real food until I fit into it.
Aww.
No.
Hashtag sexism.
He's really-
Hashtag bride shaming.
Okay, well, our next episode will be probably after Britain's gotten married, and she'll be Mrs. Britain somebody or other. And we're going to do an episode on superhero weddings.
Sure. Why not?
What superhero would you want to get married as?
Want to marry or be married? To marry? Which superhero you want to marry?
So like, if it's a groom, it'd be Batman or Superman sort of thing, and the bride would be Catwoman or something that. Personally, I'd want to get married to someone dressed to a hot babe dressed as Wonder Woman.
She doesn't have enough flaws, Ian. I know what you said earlier. Too perfect. You can never lie to her. She just lasso truth to you.
Yeah, you know, so like, yeah, that could work.
And then she would have super strength to beat you up.
It's just the costume, though. I just like that costume.
Oh, just the costume. Okay.
Yeah, I don't like the Wonder Woman costume that they did when J. Michael Straczynski sort of did that brief turn as on Wonder Woman, where she was dressed like an 80s hooker.
I know what you're talking about. A TV pilot that they
No,
was that aired?
it was comic book. It was actually a comic.
Oh, okay.
JMS did a comic book run on Wonder Woman, and
Oh, yeah.
dress.
Yeah, I didn't read it, so I don't know.
Yeah, no Wonder Woman.
But I think our next episode, because you're getting married in a couple of weeks, we're gonna do an episode on geek weddings. You know, what would your ideal geek wedding be in terms of you know, what should people dress as? I mean, I can see myself getting married as Darth Vader.
I can see that.
And then
There was a video recently of a wedding where they surprised everyone. After they did the first dance, they went right into a lightsaber duel.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But back onto the Doctor Who companion, you know, sort of like Britain. Is it me or is it just weird having a female companion called Bill?
No. I'm pretty sure that's just your own personal problems.
No, I've never met a woman called Bill before.
Billy Piper.
Well, I've never met Biggie Piper.
Oh, well, I guess in that case, it is weird. You're right. I'm sorry. I spoke out of turn.
It's just sort of like it's not a common name for a woman, though, isn't it? It's not that, you know.
Well, is she from our time, or is she from like the future, where like just genders like F it?
I think
Name your kids. Name your daughters Bruce. Name your sons Abigail. Who cares? Names don't make a person. The person makes the person.
Mm-hmm.
The more you know.
Or if it's a painful birth, you can just name your son. Oh shit. Sorry, that's. But it's just.
No, we're just gonna let that awkwardly hang in the air. We're certainly not gonna laugh and dignify it. I can tell you that much.
But it's just sort of like it's not a common name, you know, for a woman as far as I.
Neither is someone called Doctor. I'm just saying.
He has a real name.
He does have a real name, and only River Song knows it.
Well, I mean, John Pertwee gives the Doctor's name.
Yeah, John Smith.
No, it's not. It's something else. It's not John Smith. It's something else. I can't remember. It's one of those things, whenever I watch the episode, I'm going to be like, yes, I'm going to remember the Doctor's real name right now. And then I don't.
You know, Britton, that's what I like about you. You're an aficionado of classic Doctor Who. Oh.
I am. I love it so much.
So that's like, whereas you got a lot of the new Doctor Who fans have never seen any of the classic series in their life. So.
John Pertwee. What's a John Pertwee?
Yeah, is that a thing? That's an unusual name.
Although I'm not the most aficionado that I know. I know someone who, because this is a fan. Like, I grew up watching classic Doctor Who with my grandparents, so most of what I've seen, I just have a good memory, and I remember it from watching it when I was 12 through 15. I have a friend who found out about new Doctor Who, went back, watched all of classic Doctor Who, which, come on, that's an undertaking to go back and watch the early black and white ones, because I tell people all the time, if you love new Doctor Who, you're probably not going to like classic Doctor Who. They're just so different. But he went back and watched all of the classics, then went back and listened to all of the radio programs.
Oh, wow.
So I was like, props to you, sir. You are a fan.
Uh-huh.
From a fan, you are a fan. Bravo.
I mean, you know,
So basically what I'm saying is we should have him on the show and not me.
yeah, you know, he'd probably be able to tell us what planet this new companion's from. You know, being called Bill.
Does anyone know?
I want more alien companions. They were the best. Yeah. Like just having some jerk from like modern day America. You're like, okay, whatever. Just having like a Harry or Susan or whatever. So who cares? But then like, you know, you got Leela, or you got crap. Oh, the Benny, crap. But you got these alien kids, and you're like, yeah, what's their deal? What's their big thing? It's cool.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like for them to have a companion that's maybe from Victorian England or Scotland or something. I mean, one of the best series from the classic Doctor Who was sort of like the Patrick Troughton era, where you know he had Jamie, and Jamie stuck with him pretty much throughout most of his run.
Yeah.
You know, and he was a brilliant character. You know, I'd like them to sort of like the trouble is with the new series, it's sort of like it's so contemporary. But,
yeah.
You know, and the original series was never really contemporary. It was like its own thing, and I think the new series needs to get a bit of that back.
Oh yeah, like I would love it if they got a Victorian character who was obnoxiously Victorian, who like refused to leave the ship, not in the costume, and like was racist and was classist and would like find out someone was Irish and just like go off on them, like just really unlikable history characters, or an alien character who, you know, was super alien, not like the charming, oh, isn't that oddly idiosyncratic? Isn't it odd that you like don't understand how a cell phone works? Like, no, like make them seriously alien. Like, they don't get it, period. They've never been to this planet. All of our cultures are super weird to them. They don't speak English. Like, I don't know, just something outrageous. I feel like the reason I could never really get into new Doctor Who was that it was too safe. Way too safe.
Yeah.
I like it, but when you watch the original series and you compare the two, the new series is kind of like having pizza. The original series is kind of like a meal, whereas the new series is a snack.
The old series was also just like there was no litmus test, not litmus test. There was no like audience voting. There was no here's what we think will like people will like. Here's what will get bloggers talking. Like it was just throw it against the wall and see what happens. Yeah, let's have a race of lions. Why not? Yeah, let's have a race of you know, whatever. It was literally just, well, what sounds like a good idea? Okay, this sounds like a good idea. Is it a good idea? Who knows? But, you know, let's create 15 different races this season instead of, like, you know, having Daleks be everywhere.
You're right. Yeah. I'm not real thrilled to see Daleks again already.
Which sucks, because when you, in the classic series, when there's a Daleks episode, you're like, crap, it's the Daleks, and they are the worst! They're just the worst. They will mess you up.
It's like the Borg. You can't overuse them. You know, like Voyager overused the Borg. So
that should be your like, and especially when, because you know, like I was watching it and I'm like, seriously, guys, the Daleks have feelings. Are we doing this? Okay, I'll follow you so far, but are they still? No, they don't. Ugh. I don't care. I just want them to be killers.
Yeah, I mean the thing is about the classic series is when the Daleks first came out, they used them a hell of a lot. But then during the Tom Baker era and a little bit during the during John Pertwee era, and throughout every year, after the first started, they didn't use the Daleks that much because they couldn't use them that much because they actually had to get permission from Terry Nation's estate every time they wanted to use them because he owned the rights.
That's probably for the best. Didn't overuse them.
But now they've got to use them because if they don't use them a certain amount of times per season, they don't actually lose the rights to them because the rights will revert back to his estate.
Oh,
That
I
is
didn't know that.
that is the worst thing that can happen to any franchise. It is
Yeah.
Spider-Man franchises was having to do a freaking origin story every single freaking movie. It was like, no, geez, this is... If it's bad for your storytelling, don't do it.
Mhm.
Like... Because that's the thing, I don't think... If they did lose the right to the Daleks, is it so much to create new villains?
Well, Stephen Moffat's
Like,
created.
uncreative is the...
Yeah, Stephen Moffat's created new villains. The Weeping Angels. And
The what?
the Weeping Angels.
Yeah, they've overused them too now.
Well, they've only used them about 3 times.
Just 3 times too many. They were great the first time, okay the second time. After that, I got a little much.
Mm. I think they were great the first time and not so great the second time, to be honest.
Oh, the first time was a classic. I mean, the Link was awesome.
And, I think it was actually one of the first episodes where you didn't have very much of the Doctor and his companion in it as well. They don't do those episodes now.
Mm-hmm.
There's no such thing as a Doctor Night episode now. But yeah, it's great how we meandered into this Doctor Who sort of thing. We're gonna have to do a Doctor Who episode, I think, at some point.
We will. We need him. Well, I don't know if next episode I'll have a beard on or not, but I think
Are you trying to achieve a beard?
I experiment. It's like women can try different hairstyles, men can try different facial hairstyles. It's my philosophy.
Yep. And the Constitution.
I actually had
The Constitution. It's American.
Yeah, you Brits don't know that, but we have facial hair in our Constitution.
It's the 27th Amendment.
Yeah. The right to bear arms,
and facial hair.
the right to bear hair.
Okay. Well, Matt, Britton, thanks for doing this with us. It's been great having you on. It's been a great conversation.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Even though I was made to feel really, really awkward about my really bad joke before, but I'll let that go.
Next time you're just going to mute us. Fine.
But that's the end of this week's hangout. We're probably going to do another one in a couple of weeks' time. If you like this, please comment. Maybe give us a few ideas of the sort of topics you'd like us to see us cover. We've been a bit disorganized this week. We're actually hoping to get this so we can actually do a bit of interaction live with Twitter and things like that in future weeks. But for now, if there's any suggestions that you guys have that have watched this, that have actually sat through this agonizing hour and a bit of us droning on about absolute rubbish, please comment and let us know your thoughts and what you'd like to see us talk about next. And before we go, we've got some great shows on the podcast coming up. I have an interview coming up with Mitchell Cumming, or is it Cumming from the he plays the young Heatwave in an episode of The Flash. And March, you've got an episode of Genretainment coming up, haven't you?
Yeah, very soon. episode with where we go into tabletop role-playing games, talking to a game designer from that, and he is the head designer for a new game called Savage Rifts, which is it takes a popular Rifts role-playing game, and it's a new direction for it with a new gaming system, Savage Worlds, and should be a lot of fun.
Cool. And before we go, Britton Vangenti here, she's got a great web series. Britton, if you want to sort of give you a web series, quick plug before we go.
Sure. If you go on YouTube and look up Interrogation, a sci-fi web series, you can see a group of interrogators fighting against a corrupt government through the art of interrogation. Interrogation, a sci-fi web series. And if you want to see me with long hair, that's the place to do it.
Long hair and a very surly, mean expression on your face.
Yeah, pretty much. It's in my.
Yeah.
I know my identifier at the bottom of the screen has been in and out because I've been in and out. But that picture, that's from it. So if that picture intrigues you with its allure, that's the show's from that. Warning: there's a lot of cursing.
Mm-hmm.
That apparently freaked people out a lot. So, fair warning. Don't let your parents catch you watching it.
Yeah, we should have made it a certificate 18, and maybe more people would have watched it.
I'd made it over 18.
Well, maybe we should have banned it.
If I had just made it a hardcore pornography, lots of people would have watched it.
Exactly.
Anybody
What kind of interrogation is this?
Anybody who needs a hardcore bonded premise for hardcore porn, call me, or look up Interrogation, a sci-fi web series. We put
if they did that
in this.
If they had done that with Batman versus Superman, people would have watched it more.
Yeah.
Watched it.
Oh man, it was so hilarious when they were like, Batman v Superman makes 800 million, and I'm like, yeah, it took it 21 days to make 800 million. That's a failure.
Yeah, whereas Star Wars made that in one weekend.
And Star Wars was awesome.
It was.
And Rogue One looks amazing. So pumped.
This is the first edition of the SciFiPUlse Hangout. We're signing off. Thanks, Britton, for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And we hopefully have you back on again in a few weeks after your honeymoon and everything.
I'll be here next week, especially if we're talking about weddings.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm not sure if we're going to do the episode next week. It might be the week after or something like that. It's kind of
hear that, everybody? Not next week, but not next week, the 30th, but next week, the 7th.
We will pop up. We will announce it on Twitter, and we will try and give you some forewarning.
And we'll see if our guest also from Black Tribble can join us too, right?
Yeah. Well, if we're talking about weddings, you got to get some like nerd style vloggers. They exist, right?
Yeah.
Please comment if you know some sci-fi style bloggers we can have on the show. Like, comment, and subscribe.
We need some cosplayers on. There we go.
Oh yeah, cosplayers will know.
Let's get the 500 first. The 501st. But that's it for now. Thanks, everyone.
Mark, you won't be invited to that. It'll just be Ian and like 15 nerd girls. Just being like, I would have R2-D2 dresses. Oh yeah, well I want Starbuck haircut.
Ian's like, this has been a fascinating conversation. Here, girls, here's my phone number. Call me later.
That's what girls do.
Okay. Well, thanks everyone for helping me out with this first hangout, and that's it for now. Bye bye all.